Good morning. So, start the daily current affair discussion. First class, the first topic that will take today for discussion. The new is the polity and governance topic about the OBC list. In news, approximately 80 more castes in 6 states are now likely to be added in the central list of other backward classes (OBC). The National Commission for Backward Classes is readily processing the approval of most of them. There are currently over 2650 different communities listed in the central official list for all states and union territories, including the 16 communities that were added since 2013. That means the official list since its implementation is added with new caste at regular interval, and in this process, so the move to add some more new caste in the central official list is underway by the National Other Backward Classes Commission, which got this constitutional status. Fine. The commission has prepared the list of the caste, those who are going to be added in the new list soon. Okay. And the new is relating to that particular topic. Okay, so how the wow and why there is addition to the list and the process followed. So who is authorized to add? What is the role of the state government and what is the role of the National Commission for Backward Classes, and whether the state government are authorized to create such commission and do any such survey about the other backward classes, because recently Odisha has launched its own OBC survey. The Odisha government has created its OBC commission, and the OBC survey has been launched and under progress by the state government of Odisha. This is in this light, this is the topic. There are currently 2,650 different communities. A report released by the Minister of Social Justice and Empowerment, the government has decided to include 16 communities to the central list of OBC from the states like Himachal Pradesh, Bihar, Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh, and Jammu Kashmir. The other states include Maharashtra, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Himachal Pradesh, Punjab, and Haryana, from where community are shortlisted to get included under the central OBC list. Okay. So the Union government also highlighted its recent move to bring the 105th Amendment to the Constitution, which reaffirms the right of the state to maintain their own OBC list. Okay. The states are authorized to maintain their own list. Origin of OBC in India, first defined in the 1980 Mandal Commission report, the OBC, so other backward classes, for the first time find their mention in the Mandal Commission report. The BP Mandal Commission was appointed by the central government, and the Mandal Commission for the first time reported about the OBC and recommended reservation for them, for which much hue and cry was created around the country. Okay, much hue and cry was created around the country when the Mandal Commission report was accepted or released for the first time. Okay, regarding the OBC. Okay, so first defined in the 1980 Mandal Commission report, the OBC among Hindu were identified based on socio-educational field survey. List of OBC notified by various state government in the 1961 census report and extensive touring of the country. Among non-Hindus, the caste system was not found to be an inherent part of the religion. However, for equality, untouchables who converted from Hindus and occupational communities known by their traditional hereditary jobs, such as the Gujjar, the Dovij, etc. Okay, and the Telij were also identified the OBC. Other backward classes status, states were empowered to maintain their OBC own list of OBC to provide necessary benefit. Thus, we have OBC list for reservation in central government job and central educational institutions. OBC list at the state level varies with that of each state for reservation in state government job and state educational institution. This is not uniform all over the country. The Constitution 102 Amendment Act 2018 granted constitutional status to the National Commission for Backward Castes. It further inserted Article 338B, which deals with the structure, duty, and powers of the National Commission for Backward Classes. Okay. Okay. It was tasked with so it was tasked with monitoring safeguards provided for social and educational backward classes, giving advice on their socio-economic development, inquiring into complaint and making recommendation among other functions. Article 342A, which deals with the powers of the president to notify a particular caste as an SBC and for the parliament to change this list. Procedure for addition of OBC community in central list. Unlike with the process of adding community to the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe list, addition to the central OBC list do not require the concurrence of the other authority or the office of the Registrar General of India. The commission means the National Commission for the other backward classes is solely responsible for the central OBC list addition and updates. As to the procedure for addition prescribed in the National Commission for Backward Classes Act 1993, the commission is mandated to constitute a bench to examine such proposals and then forward their decision to the Indian government with dissent where it is applicable. Cabinet then needs to approve the additions and bring legislation to this effect, following which the President is empowered to notify the change. Fine. So who will notify the change? The President of India. Okay. But the recommendation will come from National Commission for Backward Classes. They have been mandated to recommend the change. National Commission is mandated to recommend the change, and there is no need for any further acceptance or concurrence from any other authority, unlike the scheduled caste or the scheduled type addition deletion. Okay. Supreme Court in the Maratha reservation case ruled that the center had the power to draw from the OBC list as per the above interpretation of the Constitution. 102nd Amendment Act, Article 342A. Okay, only mentioned. Right. The cover classes. Okay. To reserve the verdict, so Supreme Court in the Maratha case ruled that only the center had the power to drop the official list as per the above interpretation of the Constitution 102nd Amendment Act. Article 342A only mention President and Parliament with no reference as to states. To reverse the verdict and to restore the power of the state government to maintain state list of OBC, Parliament passed the 122nd Constitutional Amendment Bill 2021. Amendment in the Article 366 to 26C and Article 338B9, after which states will be able to directly notify OBC and SCBC without having to refer to the National Commission for the Scheduled Caste. The states can directly reference National Commission do this. To reverse the verdict and to restore the power of the state government to maintain state list of OBC, Parliament passed the 122nd Constitutional Amendment Bill in 2021. Amendment in Article 366, 26C and 338B9, after which state will be able to directly notify OBC and SCBC without having to refer to the NCBC, National Commission for Backward Classes. The state list was being taken out of the domain of the President and will be notified by the Assembly. Okay. State governments were given some power in this. Constitutional provision. Article 15(5), this clause is added in the 19th Amendment in 2005 and allowed the state to make special provisions for backward classes or SC/ST for admission in private educational institutions, aided or unaided. Article 16(4), this clause allows the state to reserve vacancies in public service for any backward class of the state that are not adequately represented in the public services. Article 16(4) A This allows the state to implement reservation in the matter of promotion for SC and STs. Article 16(4)(b), this allows the state to consider unfulfilled vacancies reserved for backward classes as a separate class of vacancy, not subject to a limit of 50% reservation. Article 340, this article provides the President the power to appointment of a commission to investigate the condition of backward classes. Article 338(v), this article provides constitutional status for the National Commission for Backward Classes. Fine. The Constitution 102 Amendment, 102nd Amendment, Act 2018, granted constitutional status to the National Commission for Backward Castes. This community likely to add it to the central list of some states such as Maharashtra, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Himachal Pradesh, Punjab and Haryana. Some of the community to be included are Andhra Pradesh, Turupuppa Kapu community, Himachal Pradesh, the Mahajra community, Maharashtra, Lodi, Lingayat, Boyar Power, Jhansa community, Punjab, Yadav community, Haryana, Gosai community from Haryana. Okay, they need to be added in the central OBC list. Procedure, these are part of the request that the commission is bound to examine, and once it is decided, the recommendation is sent to the cabinet. As per the procedure for addition prescribed in the National Commission for Backward Class Act 1993, the panel is mandated to constitute a bench to examine such proposals and then forward the decision to the union government with dissent where applicable. The cabinet then needs to approve the additions and bring legislation to this effect, following which the president is empowered to notify the changes. Unlike the procedure to add community in the SC and ST list, addition to the central OBC list do not have to rely on the concurrence of the Office of the Registrar General of India or any authority other than the National Commission for the Backward Castes. The NCBC considers addition to the central OBC list based on social, educational and economic indicators suggested by the Mandal Commission established in 1979. You can see OBC are added in India as per the recommendation of the Mandal Commission under Justice B.P. Mandal. The Mandal Commission in January 79, Morarji Desai government chose Bindeswari Prasad Mandal, a former Chief Minister of Bihar, to head the second backward class commission in India. So B.P. Mandal was the Chief Minister of Bihar and he head the Mandal Commission. The Mandal Commission submitted report in 1980 and it was just with the government for a long period of nearly 1 decade. In the year 1990, V.P. Singh, so when the Prime Minister of India, okay, Vishwanath Pratap Singh, decided to implement the recommendation of the Mandal report in employment sector. However, his announcement led to massive protest across the country. In its report, the Mandal Commission mentioned that India's population consisted of approximately 16% of non-Hindus, 17% 5% of Brahman and forward class, 44% other backward classes, 22.5% scheduled class and tribes. It recommended that member of OBC be given 27% reservation for job under the central government and public sector undertakings. This could take the total number of reservations of scheduled caste scheduled tribes, including OBC, to 49%. And the court has fixed a cap of 49%. Okay, for reservation. Beyond this, reservation is not applicable. Total reservation should not exceed 49%. In context, the Law Commission recently decided to settle. So that okay. The next topic is the universal that uniform civil code. In context, the Law Commission recently decided to solicit view from the public on the idea of the uniform civil code. What is the uniform civil code? The uniform civil code refers to a common set of law governing personal matters such as marriage, divorce, adoption, inheritance, and succession for citizens irrespective of the religion. Constitutional provision suggesting uniform civil code, Article 44. This article of the Constitution provides for uniform civil code. This article of the Constitution make a reference to the UCC and say the states shall endeavor to secure for the citizen uniform civil code throughout the territory of India. This in the chapter dealing with the directive principle state policy and is therefore presumed to be advisory in nature. Article 37 state that the vision of the Uniform Civil Code along with other directive principle is enshrined in the Indian Constitution as a goal towards which the nation should strive, but it is not fundamental right of the constitutional guarantee. One cannot approve the code to demand a uniform civil code because it is in the DPSP, not in the fundamental right. Argument in favor of the UCC, uniformity and reduced disorder. Common code could enable uniform civil principles to be applied to the entire nation. If and when the whole population will start following this same law, chances are there that it would bring more peace to the living and reduce riots. Secularism and women's rights will be protected. The Uniform Civil Code help end gender discrimination and over discrimination on religious ground and strengthen the secular. Okay, therefore UCC could bring all community together to ensure women and right to a dignified life and control over the life as well as the body. Ending unjust custom and tradition, a rational, common and unified personal law will help eradicate many evils, unjust and irrational customs and tradition prevalent across the communities. Okay, so ease of administration, UCC make it easy to administer the huge population based on India. Historically, not all community demand separate law. Few of the Muslim community like the Khojaj and the Chutti Menans did not want to submit a separate Muslim personal law. The global scenario, the personal law of minority were not recognized in any of the advanced Muslim countries, Turkey and Egypt. No minority in this country were permitted to have their own personal law. Many countries have common civil codes. Argument against the Uniform Civil Code, hampering diversity and multiculturalism. Indian society has a unique identity in the form of being diverse and multicultural, and unified law might do away with these unique characteristics of this notion. Violation of fundamental rights, definitely, because those people's fundamental rights will be violated by this. A religious body opposed the Uniform Civil Code on the ground that it could be interference in religious affairs which could violate fundamental rights guaranteed under Article 25 of the Constitution, mainly to communal unrest, fundamental right. this uniform civil code, so if it is applicable, so it may lead to violation of fundamental. So it is somehow observed that this may lead to violation of the fundamental rights of the people. Okay. Then religious body opposed uniform civil code on the ground that it could be interference in religious affairs, which could violate fundamental rights guaranteed under Article 25 of the Constitution called right to freedom of religion. May lead to communal unrest. It could be a tyranny to the minority, and when implemented, could bring a lot of unrest in the country. It is presumed that this may bring instability or violence in the country and lead to violence in the country. Okay. All Indian Muslim personal law boards state that the law pertaining to marriage and inheritance were part of religious injunctions for ages, so it will be violation. Constitution of the 22nd Law Commission. The commission is headed by former Karnataka Chief Justice Rituraj Avasti. Function the commission, among other things, are identified law which are no longer needed or relevant and can be immediately repealed, examine the existing law in the light of directive principles. Okay. So the commission is also looking into several significant issues like is class ଏଇ ଯୋଉ ସେ ପିଲା ଧର କହିଲେ ସେ ଗୋଟେ ପିଲା କହୁଛି ବ୍ୟାଙ୍କିଂ କରିବେ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ପିଲା ବ୍ୟାଙ୍କିଂ କଲେ ତାଙ୍କର 24,500 ଟାର୍ଗେଟ ଆସିବ ତାଙ୍କର 500 ଡିସକାଉଣ୍ଟ वन डे पेमेंट କେତେ ଆସିବ वन डे ରେ 24,500 और 500 ଟଙ୍କା ପାଞ୍ଚ ଟଙ୍କା କରିଦେବ ସେ ସେଇ କଥା କହିଦେବେ ମୁଁ ସାରଙ୍କୁ ନେଇ ଆସିବି ଦିଟା ପିଲା କରିବେ 1000 କିନ୍ତୁ ये कंबाइन करिवे बैंकिंग करिवे ना तो कंबाइन जे करता 1000 डिस्काउंट बैंक का 500 जोड़ा जब से डॉक्टर की चीज है ना सुन का okay. The commission is also looking into several significant issues like implementation of the Uniform Civil Code, holding of simultaneous elections, issues and criticism. Decision of the 21st Law Commission. The 21st Law Commission has released a consultation paper in 2018 that categorically said a Uniform Civil Code was neither necessary nor desirable at that stage. Region cited in a oil region document. Okay. It has then argued that the focus of initiative to reform the Paris personal law would be the elimination of all forms of discrimination rather than an attempt to bring about uniformity in the law governing various religions. It emphasized non-discrimination over uniformity. It It was recognized that there should be a diverse means of governing aspects of personal law, such as marriage, divorce, inheritance, adoption, instead of imposing a single set of rules. This, according to 21st Commission, 21st Law Commission, could entirely remove discriminatory provisions, especially those that affect women and adoption of some overreaching norms rooted in the equality. So, this code is to be more soothing to the women because the Uniform Civil Code, the personal law of the community, they affect the right of women severely. The 22nd Commission has claimed that years have elapsed since similar views were sought by the various panels of the Uniform Civil Code, and that various efforts are needed to garner various opinions. Critics, according to critics, the Law Commission's decision to solicit view from the public on the idea of Uniform Civil Code appears to be a political initiative aimed at bringing the potentially divisive issue under focus. While it is possible that Uniform Civil Code may be adopted without offending any religion, but the concept advocates fear among sections of the minority that their religious belief, seen as the source of their personal law, may be undermined, which is not going to be the real things in practice. Then the Miyakaji mango, Tripura grew the Miyakaji mango. In the market, this Miyakaji mango is priced at around 2,70,000 for kg. The Miyakaji mango was originally grown in Miyakaji city of Japan. It is usually over 350 grams in weight and has 15% of higher sugar content. The cultivation of this variety requires long hours of bright sunshine and warm, abundant rainfall. This ruby red cultured fruit is also known as the egg of the sun or Tiao or Tamago in Japan. Miyakaji is a type of heroin mango which is different from the yellow pelican mango widely grown in Southeast Asia. It contains beta carotene and folic acid and is considered to be rich in antioxidants. Recently, this variety of mango from Japan was also found growing in West Bengal and Madhya Pradesh on experimental basis. Non-communicable disease in India. In news recently, the new national estimate for diabetes and other non-communicable disease were released. The decade-long nationwide study was found by the Indian Council of Medical Research and Department of Health Research, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, and coordinated by the Madras Diabetic Research Foundation. The result of the study are to be published in the Lancet Diabetes and Endocrinology Journal about non-communicable disease. Non-communicable disease are also known as chronic disease, are non-transmissible disease of often long duration. And this have been one of the major concerns of the health ministry. It has identified the four major non-communicable disease include cardiovascular disease, cancer, chronic respiratory disease, and diabetes are the four major non-communicable disease. Causes non-communicable disease are driven primarily by the behavior that often start during childhood and adolescence, including physical inactivity, unhealthy diet, tobacco use, and harmful use of alcohol. Impact: the epidemic of the non-communicable disease poses devastating health consequences for individuals, family, and the community, and threaten to overwhelm health system. The socio-economic cost associated with the non-communicable disease make the prevention and control of this disease a major development imperative of the 21st century. Estimates suggest that approximately 70% of the premature deaths that occur among the adult are stem from the health-related behavior that originate in the childhood and adolescence. Apart from the life they take, the non-communicable disease take a heavy toll on economy, cutting down people in their most productive years. Okay. Significance of the study: diabetes and other metabolic non-communicable disease such as hypertension, obesity, and dyslipidemia. Okay, so are much more common than estimated previously in India, and why it's because report says that very soon India is going to be the diabetic capital of the world. Well, currently, urban region and higher rates of this of metabolic condition than rural area, with the exception of pre-diabetes. Rural India will see a diabetes explosion in the next 5 years, if left unregulated. Urgency of the policies: while the diabetes epidemic is stabilizing in more developed states of the country, it is still increasing in most of the other states. Thus, there are serious implications for the nation, warranting urgent state-specific policy and intervention towards the rapidly raging epidemic of metabolic condition in India. Impact for India. India in the past 4 years has substantially added to its burden of diabetes and and hypertension persons with generalized and abnormal obesity. The study gives us an early warning that if not controlled, this population is proposed to enrich and life-altering medical conditions, including strokes. Experts have explained that India is facing the dual problem of malnutrition and obesity simultaneously. India is a country which is facing. National mission, Ayushman Bharat will be the center of being launched by the government for this. Okay, to control these things. Then the next is with Assam Rifle. For the past 18 days, about 7 battalions with Assam Rifle deployed in South Manipur have not received fresh ration. People in the Maiti area allegedly blocking supply from reaching them camps of the forces. Assam Rifle is one of the 6 Central Armed Forces Force, Central Armed Police Force, under the administrative control of the Minister of Home Affairs. The other forces being the Central Reserve Police Force, the Border Security Force, the Independent Border Force, the Central Industrial Security Force, the Sashastra Seema Bal is tasked with the maintenance of law and order in the northeast, along with the Indian Army and also guards the Indo-Myanmar border in the region. It is a dedicated force because known as the Assam Rifle. So it is more deployed in the northeastern states, and so its personnel are also from most of them are well acquainted with the area. The dual control structure, it is the only paramilitary force with a dual control structure. The administrative control of the force is the Ministry of Home Affairs. Its operational control is with the Indian Army, which is under the Ministry of Defence. This means that salaries and infrastructure for the force is provided by the Ministry of Home Affairs, but the deployment, posting, transfer, and deportation of the personnel is by the Army. The force is commanded by the Lieutenant General of the Indian Army. In some way, the force is the only central paramilitary force as its operational duty and regimentation are on the line of the Indian Army. However, being a central armed police force under the Ministry of Home Affairs, its recruitment for promotion of its personnel and retirement policy are governed according to the rules framed by the Minister of Home Affairs for the CAPF, Central Armed Police Forces. History, Assam Rifle is the oldest paramilitary force reached way back in 1835 the British India with just 750 men. Since then, it has gone on fight in 2 world wars, the Sino-Indian War of 1962 and used as an anti-insurgency force against the militant group in the northeast. Raised as a militia to protect British tea state and its settlement from the raids of the tribes in the northeast, the force was first known as the Chachar Lake. It was reorganized later as Assam Frontier Force as its role was expanded to conduct punitive operations beyond Assam border. Given its contribution opening the region to administration and commerce. It came to be known as the right arm of the civilian, left arm of the militants of the military in India. Class in 1917, recognizing their work during the Great War, fighting soldiers to soldiers with rifle, regiment of the regular British Army, the name of the force was changed to Assam Rifle. So it is from the British era, 1835 till 2023, there is a big transformation in the role, responsibility, and its domain of the Assam Rifles. Problem areas, those arguing for administrative control of the Minister of Defence said that it would mean better work and retirement benefit, which are far higher compared to the CAP under the Home Affairs. However, Army personnel also retire at 35, while the regiment retired at CAP 60 years. Also, CAP officials have recently been granted non-functional financial accreditation to the last financially addresses the issue of stagnation in their career due to lack of avenue for promotion. On the other hand, army personnel also get one rank, one pension, which is not available to the CAPA. Both Ministry of Home Affairs and Ministry of Defence have wanted full control of the forces for a long time because this particular force is under the dual control. Then come to the question: has digital literacy, particularly in rural area, coupled with lack of information and communication technology, accessibility, hindered socio-economic development, exam justification. Digital literacy is the ability to navigate the digital world. It focuses on using technology like the smartphone, PC, e-reader, etc. to find, evaluate, and communicate information. Digital literacy can play a powerful role in helping people connect, learn, engage with their community, and create more promising features. It has been reported that information and communication technology in rural area have slow uptake due to the low to no income, a lack of ICT infrastructure, cultural differences, and many other reasons. Digital literacy in the recent time of the pandemic has hindered. Okay. Socio-economic development to a great extent in rural area, it can be concluded to so by children are not able to access quality education and attend virtual classroom due to issues with internet connectivity coupled with frequent internet electricity outages. Because so rural area suffer maximum about the lack of electricity for a major part of the period. Children are not able to access quality education, attend virtual classroom due to issues with internet connectivity coupled with frequent internet and electricity outages. Lack of digital knowledge among the rural youth keep them away from capitalizing a myriad of employment and income generation opportunity. For example, e-commerce, IT services, etc. Emphasis on digitization and computerization while ignoring digital literacy led to inaccessibility of government benefit and scheme to the vulnerable section. Hello. Okay. The digital divide is more than just an access issue and cannot be elevated merely by providing the necessary equipment. The Standing Committee on Information Technology in January 2019 concluded that digital literacy efforts of the government are far from satisfactory. The government need to focus on information accessibility, information utilization, and information receptiveness. Various initiatives such as the Digital India, Internet Sarathy Program, Diksha, etc. are commendable steps that are leading to positive socio-economic development in rural areas. Coming to the MCQs, and the following statement in Assam Rifle is the only paramilitary force with a dual control structure. That's right. Assam Rifle is the oldest Paramilitary force raised by way back in 1835, right? Just 750 men. The forces is the only central paramilitary force as its operational duty and regimentation are on the line of Indian Army. So all the three are correct. But the following statement regarding the Mahakaji mango, the mango was originally grown in Mahakaji in Japan, right? It contains alpha carotene and folic acid and is considered rich in antioxidant. So alpha carotene and folic acid is not there, but it is rich in antioxidants. So two is incorrect. Only one is correct. Reference to Baiko Puja, is the following statement. The Baiko is the principal deity of the Ravaj, which is associated with the crop. An important aspect of the Baiko Puja is the Barnak Kairutal, which is the fire test chance. Barnak Kaitual involves running barefoot over burning hot coals as pile of leftover planting materials placed in the ground. So all the three are correct. Because the following statement regarding the NIRF ranking 2023 National Institute of Educational Ranking. IIT Madras into the top spot in the overall ranking for the fifth consecutive year. That is right. There are four distinct editions in 2020 edition. That's right. The Ministry of Education lead the NF ranking 2023 to 3 is also okay. So only two are correct here. Option is not correct. The National Commission for Backward Classes recently approved 80 more casts in 6 states are now to be added in the central list. That is right. NCBC, the Indian constitutional body under the jurisdiction of the Ministry of Social and Empowerment. That's right. According to Article 3 of the Constitution, President of India has established commission to examine commission of social backward classes. Only two are correct, not three. Reference to non-communicable disease, consider the following statement. A non-communicable disease is a disease that is not transmissible directly from one person to another, right? The main type of indicia are cardiovascular disease such as heart attack and stroke, cancer, chronic respiratory disease such as chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, and the diabetes, right? NDC may be chronic or acute. Okay, all three are correct. Consider the following statement regarding the Bangkok Vision 2030. Thailand presented the BIMSTEC Bangkok Vision 2030 Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Scientific, Technical and Economic Cooperation BIMSTEC, aiming to build a prosperous, resilient and open BIMSTEC by 2030, which is correct. The document aims to promote BIMSTEC as a region of peace, stability, and economic stability. Right. The goal from the vision are also in the United Nations Development Program and the Thailand Biocultural Green Economic Model. So only two are correct. The balance of payment framework, remittance are component of. Remittance is what we receive from outside. So they are part of the current account because they are received. Consider the following regarding the US-Iran nuclear deal. The Iran nuclear agreement, formerly known as the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action (JCPOA), the landmark occurred reached between Iran and several world powers, including the United States, in July 2015. Under these terms, Iran agreed to dismantle much of its nuclear program and open its facility to more extensive international inspection in exchange of billions of dollars worth of sanctions relief. So here, both 1 and 2 are correct. The reference to the willful defaulter. According to the RBI, willful defaulter happens when a borrower does not repay their loans even though they have the ability to do so. That's right. RBI has allowed willful defaulters and loans accounts involved in the fraud to go in for a compromise settlement with the banks to settle their dues, right? A comprehensive compromise settlement refers to a negotiated settlement between the borrower and a bank in which borrower offers to pay an amount that is less than total due under the loan. That's right. All the three are correct. Thank you for watching. Keep watching regularly to update yourself on the development. Thank you.